Good evening and welcome to Flat Earth United Potatoes Assemble. Joining me this evening is Patricia Steer, Stephen Chess, Zoe Scribner and Martin Liedtke. How are you all doing, folks?
I'm doing good as the head potato in charge, I guess. I'll speak for all of us. We're all doing well, wonderfully.
We're all very level-headed.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my call to action straight away. So if you're new to this channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon button so you do get notified every time we make a new video or have a new interview or a panel show like this one. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. The purpose of today's show is to talk specifically about our experiences talking about the grand subject of flat Earth on YouTube. So we are all, I think without exception at the moment, there may be other people who do join this panel, but we're all pretty much about 2 years, maybe a little bit 2 years plus into talking about flat Earth on YouTube. See lots of nodding.
Yes,
Nods.
Third Christmas. This will be the third Christmas.
Third Christmas.
Yeah.
That's flat Earth, yeah, for me. Yes.
Yeah. I know my date was the 23rd of, wow, I can't remember now. August 23rd is when I believe I did my first show. So.
Oh, wow. That's almost identical to me because I put my first video up end of August, but didn't publish it because I was too scared. True.
Funny.
But my very first video was about the space shuttle. So I managed to capture a transition shot in one of the NASA films, and it showed people standing on the edge relatively close to the actual shuttle, and you could get a scale. So I literally went up to my 8-foot screen and got a tape measure and got a scale and went another look, and I think it was like 100 feet shy of what the actual rocket should be. You know, the rocket's absolutely colossal, yet it didn't, you know, to the untrained eye, you look at it in a quick transition shot and it just looked like fine, but then you go, no, there's people standing next to it, and they're roughly, give or take, 6 foot. You can extrapolate that out and get a rough scale of how far they were. You could see the depth. They had a nice fence along the left hand side, so you could see that the scale wasn't massively off. You know, it was useful. But I was thinking, what if I'm wrong? You know, what if it's all, you know, incorrect? Because you do with your first video, even though, you know, I'd already come to the conclusion that the Earth was flat. You don't necessarily want to jump up and down and shout about it because you might be called an idiot or have trolls chasing you, which is pretty much what the show's about.
And that's what happens eventually, for sure. At first, you're a little scared that that'll happen to you, and then later you're maybe heard it's happening to you, and then you come to acceptance, and then you embrace it. I purposely sometimes admittedly provoke trolls and their trolling of me by saying and doing little things that'll make them freak out because they're there hammering away at me. And I'm not talking about globe believers. I'm talking about flat earthers who I consider trolls. I give them a little poke in the eye occasionally because I know they're watching everything I do. I have no idea why, but they are. So, hi.
You gonna name any names? I'm gonna in this show.
Oh, you go ahead and name names, and maybe I should do. You know, one
Blanket,
of these days,
name them the PPP.
Do we launch right into the like real bastards, or do we start tame? Because I was gonna start easy. Do you guys remember your first troll? Because I remember my first.
Yeah, man.
It was Sparkade. I remember my.
Oh no, sure. Me too. Yeah.
Yes,
My first troll was
back in the day, Zoe.
Exactly. Back in the day, though.
I remember all the globe believers were the trolls that I had first. They were not the flat earthers who were doing all the trolling. And now globe believers generally leave me alone for the most part. They're not trying to tell me I'm an idiot or a fool or any of those other things that happened about 2 years ago. It's a certain segment of the flat earthers, but they're not. You know what's weird? The people that do the infighting, they're not even flat earthers. I was thinking about that the other day. There are people who've said, I don't really think I'm a flat earther anymore, or I'm a globe skeptic now, although I used to be a flat earther, or all these other words that they use to call themselves. So, yeah, funny. Nathan, are you going to name names, as you were saying?
Yeah, I may name a few names.
Name and shame?
Well, the real bastards are people like Star Gods.
Star Gods, he's
Star
so
Gods,
funny.
man. You gotta, I tell you, I'm not being funny, but Star Gods definitely got a little stiffy for Patricia. Mind you, she's a very little one.
I don't know what his problem is. I was so nice to him.
I don't know. He's obsessed, isn't he? An obsession is to do with weak of mind, because basically, if you've got nothing else to think about in your life, because it's basically not much happening, you haven't got to worry about basically getting through a day, like most ordinary people in society. So he's just fixated, and that's it. He must think all day. And there's other people. I got people fixated on me as well, Patricia. It's insane. Yeah. Waking up all day thinking about somebody that's a real person, but completely remotely, nothing to do with them, with their lives. Like just a connection through a screen. Yet they think you're talking to them. Some people, they actually think that connection, you're actually talking to that person. People do believe this, Patricia. The power of this medium is incredible. Underestimated by myself.
That's what a lot of people make their entire channels off of. They build their popularity off of building a relationship with each individual listener.
That's true. Some channels only exist to put other channels down. That's, if you took away that capability from them to talk about other channels, and I know we're doing it now, but it's not what my channel or any of our channels is about. We aren't gossip channels. Right now we're engaging in a little, of course, why not? Fair play. But yeah, if you took away that ability from them, they would have the sound of silence on their channel, pretty much. Or they'd try maybe to talk about something else, but they wouldn't be able to keep our names and other people's names out of their mouth. They wouldn't be able to stop saying things like Darren the Bitcoin scammer or any other ridiculous, proven false statement over and over, because that's what they've got to hang their hat on. And many people enjoy it. Literally, they make the popcorn and, sit around and watch these things and message each other. Oh, did you see what he said? Oh, did you see what she's wearing? Seriously, like a bunch of old women sitting around gossiping. And many of them are men, which is even weirder.
Yeah, weirder.
Oh, well.
Well, my haters aren't exactly basically the traditional HD, which is the hater division, I call them. But it's not the traditional hater division, the long-term ones, not my haters. The haters are more apparent flat earthers. But I can't see them as being flat earthers, because that's not flat earther behavior, actually, hating on people, of a day. I can't really get my head around that. I'm on a copyright strike at the moment. From a complete stranger, turned up on my comments and he said, I did it to you, and I'm going to keep on doing it to you until your vile, racist ass is off YouTube. So he doesn't even watch my videos. He doesn't even watch me. It's just random hit.
What have you ever done that was racist, unless I've missed something?
Well, nothing. He obviously doesn't watch my channel, because if you watch me, you know that, my friends are coloured, and I hang around, more of my friends are black than white. That's just nuts. So you can't really pull that one. So he doesn't watch me. So either he's making error just to be a hater, or he literally flagged me on a remote false flag video to do with Finsbury Park. So there was a racial motivation, but it was showing people how they divide against man against man in the video. That was the point of the video. No racial means to it. But he must have watched that, interpreted it as something else, and reported me. What I didn't like is I couldn't really write to YouTube. I looked today to basically say, hang on, you've got me for bullying and harassment. Yeah, I'm the victim of bullying and harassment. I haven't actually done anything wrong here. This guy's the one. So why are you taking his words? And I've got a copyright strike. You can't even stick up for yourself with these people. My account, my channel is blitzed. If it's not being notified, because people are sending me mail every day saying my videos are not being notified and not going out. They block them worldwide. Yesterday, for playing my own video. Really, my own video. No, you just,
I don't understand how somebody could copyright strike, or let's say strike, could flag your video for bullying, harassment, or something like that when there wasn't any in there. So you could, like right now, I could just go to Martin Leakey's channel and flag one of your videos for harassment and it would work. That
Yeah,
just
that little
seems
flag at the bottom, report, yeah. If you
right,
report,
but I
and you get a
mean,
little list, harassment, bullying. So, you know, it's a bit, it's not very specific. It is. It's not, you know, there's bits in, you know, in between that could, you know, constitute a report, like in chat, but they don't really touch upon, you know, foul language, things upon that. It's just bullet points, and you've got to click one. So he's clicked harassment and bullying.
all right, there's people within the flat earth community who have done things on their shows, on their videos, where they've said that they were going to very violently beat others up. Those videos remained. There have been videos made by flat earthers about other flat earthers where they've been misgendered, I guess, on purpose, told that they're stupid, ugly, liars. Those videos remain. You could report those from dawn till dusk and they'll never be taken down. I don't understand how anybody could flag a video of yours. I'm not saying it didn't happen, Martin, but I'm saying I don't get it. How the videos are up that are bad, but the videos that are good get taken down.
Yeah, and every day I got my comments, and it starts with a vicious ad hom, and they're always personal attacks. You know, you're like the ugliest F on YouTube to start my day, like, you know, but I can't report that. You know, I just got to delete it, or you know, I wouldn't go deeper anyway because it wouldn't be worth it, and just block them, which I always do. But you know, they just don't seem to regulate. There's no rules. You know, we can sort of police ourselves, and people are damn right disgusting. This has been a real shock to me, the way people treat one another in these chat feeds. I don't know whether it's our age, Patricia, or what, but just to me, people should be treating one another civil. And it's just being missed. It's just, we'll look over people's feelings. People don't feel feelings like they do when you see people in a hospital and their families are not well, and you smile at one another because you respect one another. You've got problems, and as human being in the same boat. So we're all human beings in the same boat. We've all just, you know, fallen off the globe, realised we're on the flat plane. So we've got a lot of information downloaded in a real short space of time. And all of this journey, which has been really compressed, hasn't it? And it's accelerating. So much coming on so quick for us too. But you know, you think that the whole FE would put their hands around in compassion, wouldn't it? But it's not. It's this little sect of hate for some really unusual reason. I think it's like their attachment to the globe mentality is being manifested in a way internally into the movement. I think that's the way I think it's a sort of therapy. I really actually do think it's a sort of therapy. Watching like Stargods yesterday was like watching someone on a therapy couch. It's, you know, sort of talking about their feelings. To me, that's what's going on. It's a deep psychological impact with Flat Earth Awakening. I've seen people swing both ways: depression, elation, all of it. So I believe that's what's going on. I think that it's aimed at us. You know, Nathan gets a really, to me, unfair amount of grief. I don't really think any of it's founded. I really don't think any of it's founded. It's based on shit. All of it is. So I try to pinpoint why. So I put it down to jealousy, maybe, or just downright confusion of the reality. Where on YouTube, this is a screen, and can't really actually touch you. We're not in the room with you. This is how it works, Cyber. But people can't seem to differentiate the difference for some reason. It's like that gaming mentality, you know, the disconnect going on with us too. So we've got to be aware of that, and I've experienced this myself recently. So, you know, mindful of this on YouTube. There's crazy people out there on these chat feeds, and you don't know who you're dealing with, and multiple accounts. People literally going out their way with blank sock accounts to make other people's life miserable every day. And people are doing that, and not just ones and twos, I mean teams. I can watch them on my feed in the corner, sort of gathering momentum through the day, talking about what they're going to be doing, poisonous thoughts towards other human beings, and then they'll go in like a bunch of vipers for the kill. To me, it must be the generation. Again, I don't understand it. It's just mind-boggling.
With Stargods, it's mostly projection. So when I've seen his comments aimed towards Patricia, I remember once him talking about her having false teeth. And then that most recent video, you look at him with his ill-fitting false teeth. And you think, you've obviously got an issue with the fact that you've had to have false teeth. So you want to project that nonsense onto somebody that you're obviously deeply in love with and can't have.
Money.
And that's what he does.
He'll mention Patricia money, but he won't say about the fact he lives in a lovely big house on a beach, on an island, and Kaz and the whole works. Like, to me, he represents wealth I couldn't really imagine. So, but he won't throw that into the fucking, you know, into the equation, will he? Well, will he?
Well,
But like, she's a rich kid, but I'm a rich boy. I'll just bastard her because it's easier if I, you know, just keep away from that bit of the subject, you know, conveniently for this vlog. Again,
he'll say in one breath that I'm a man, and then he'll also say she's a spoiled rich girl in the same sentence. Am I
no, he's always doing that.
girl or am I a man, Stargods? Would you like to know? Oh, well, whatever. He's one person that I did interview, and I did think he had a lot to offer, and I would love to retract that. He has absolutely nothing to offer but pure garbage. I would love to erase that from my channel, but I won't, because it's a place and time, just like my interview with Dan Pratt. Dan Pratt now says that his interview with me, he did under sort of some kind of duress, where he was only doing it to get some truth on my channel because it's all a bunch of lies and BS. But if you go and watch the video interview of Dan Pratt, especially the very beginning, he looks like a little boy at Christmas time. He was so happy to be on. It was written all over his face. He wasn't doing it the way he's now spin doctored it now to flying. But it's fine. People have been... It's either people who are just nasty to the core before they discovered flat Earth, or they've been so twisted up by what the globe has done to them that they've become very dark in this journey that we're all on. Either way, those people, I feel bad for them. I do. And there's nothing I can do to help them, or better said, there's nothing I will ever do to correct what they're saying, to try to reach out and say, no, you got that wrong. I am not fill in the blank. A man, fill in the blank, just had plastic surgery or ever had plastic surgery. Here's the proof. I didn't declaw my cats. All of these things even if I proved it with like reams of paperwork or had a doctor do a DNA test on me to show I'm a woman, these people would be convinced even more so. They would just say it was made up.
Doesn't work. What about the Holy Bible? Doesn't work. Nothing you will ever do will work.
So if they want to believe I'm a transgendered satanic clone.
So the next person comes along, Patricia, and they can name their fixation upon.
Yeah, it's fine. It doesn't matter. I'll still be here.
I mean, it's one thing that there are these channels with flat Earth haters who themselves, I mean, but that there's an audience for these channels. That's even more mind-blowing.
It's bottomly chain. It's freaking the subculture of a subculture.
Boggles my mind that anyone would want to fill their being with such nastiness. It just boggles the mind.
I would like to help though and reach out, and I have tried with some of my trials, like just to try and not block them, trying to talk to them on my comments or whatever I can. Say, look, let's just try and talk. Look, let's try and be peaceful. I tried it last night, Nathan's show, on his chat with one of his favourite haters. Like, why can't we just turn this around and just all get on? And I bet you would have really enjoyed the decision.
Who was the hater?
Who was
it?
Well,
Ranty, and I've seen him earlier, and he's got respect for myself for some reason. He's really, because it's a one-word prick, because of something somebody may not have said with no proof whatsoever. So he'll go with that. He'll go with that narrative coming into the FE like weeks ago, because when Eddie Bravo got interviewed by, he was doing that interview with, I think it was Mick Weiss, was it, off of anyway, it was about 3 months ago. That's when he became flat earther. So I realised this is really new. So he's come into it, and he's got this. He's like a bit of a fighter and a bit of a bloke at the bar, likes a beer. So he's done it. He's coming at you because he's been poisoned that way. So I wanted to explain to him, actually, that's not how it's working. There's another side to this. And he's a really nice bloke when you get to know him. Maybe if you met him or talked to him, you'll find this out. Give him a chance. Trying it. So this could happen to any one of them as far as I'm concerned. Personally, I would think that everyone should deserve a chance to turn them around. I tried it with the likes of David Quintana and other trolls. For some reason, I got Spaceman and Zenxis clicking me on my Hangouts 2 days ago. That's all about, I wonder, after what happened. But I would like to try, but some cases it will be hopeless.
You mentioned Spaceman because as much as the guy's a wanker, You know, I've found
All
myself
day long.
you know, it's a nasty piece of work, I'm not going to lie. But by the same token, it's people like Spaceman and Sly Sparkane and Wolfie and all of these types of people. They're actually pushing these arguments forward, you know, challenging flat earthers. What they're not doing is going around sniping people. Obviously, there's the exception. There's Tim Osman, who I'm sure we'll come to at some stage. But you know, for the most part, Sly Sparkane, who, when he sent his first scathing message to me on, you know, it's just a comment on satellites aren't real or what some video that I'd made, and he was really cutting. But it made me actually progress. It made me, you know, actually go and look at the things that I'd presented in more detail, you know, go and gather more evidence, confirm what I'd already assumed was correct. So it was useful. You don't think it at the time. You're like, oh, Jesus, this guy's being really nasty and saying I'm stupid. What am I going to do? Maybe I'm wrong, you know. But it drove me, I don't know about anybody else, to do more research.
I know, so you don't get caught up the next time. You're right, it works. They get you to the home, mate. You're right.
You want to have a better base of knowledge. So the next troll that comes along, you can actually challenge them immediately rather than, you know, cowering or running away. You know, that's the way it is. And I still find that to this day. You know, I'm going to use this show. I might as well do this now. So Curved Water was asking me on the show with Spaceman specifically about a detail in the sun tracking. Now, many of you, if not all of you, were a part of that sun tracking event. And there's a particular part, this happened 4 times on the 2 events, but I'm going to focus on one just because it's easy to find if you were scrubbing through. So there's a part where Robin Poe holds up the globe and she says that on this side of the globe, that's where, according to their model, this person who can see the sun is on this side of the globe. And here's another person on the other side of the globe. Now, I presented this, and the only response I got from Curved Water was, I watched that live. That wasn't true. You faked the suns. You know, none of that. Just, I watched that. And then he proceeded to say that it wasn't important. And it was really empowering to be, for the first time, in a position where it's like, no, I've got first-hand knowledge of this, first-hand experience, and nobody's debunked this. And he was like, wanted to go on and on about finding bodies of water that are perfectly at rest, tired old shitty arguments, you know. But that's the kind of trolls that I actually like. You know, the trolls that will progress things, the flat earth maths. The horrible ones are still horrible, you know, they're still rude and crass and all the rest of it, the Spacemans and the Sly Sparkanes. But ultimately, like I say, they're not like Laurie Gale. They're not like Dan Pratt. They're not like Star Gods. You know, these people are full-on ad hominem attack. That is their main function, their modus operandi. That is what they do. It's straight at the man or woman. You know, that's
Laurie won't touch me because it's my fault she's on the internet in the first place, because I put her up to it, and she's friends, and she would never attack me, and she never does. There's a whole section of them that just don't, but it seems to be the people that like flat earthers, long-term ones, you know, that will have a go at me, you know, like Baby Ruth. Why he has a go at me is beyond me. That really actually hurts my feelings, that does, because I can't even work out for the life of me why Chris CTS, Truth Seeker, would have so much disdain for me. You know, he goes away from the movement, fair enough, he goes off the holiday, comes back, he sends me a Skype, I'm coming back, you know, reporting to Flat Earth British, welcome in, open arms, nice to see you. Straight away, within weeks, he's gone all weird on me, and now he's just trolling me to death, and I've got to block him, and I don't even know why he would do this to me. It's beyond me. It's beyond me. There's no reason for it. It's just beyond me.
Again, I can't remember which show this got discussed on, one I was on recently. It might have been Flat Earth Court. But the purpose is to get you to the point where you do something nasty, like tell them to go fuck themselves.
I've helped him.
That's what they want. So that as soon as you do that, they can hold that up against you and say, look at what this person's done.
Yes.
And if you do it, like if we did it now, if I was to say, for example, that Chris Truthseeker's a pathetic pecker dick, you know, he would use that and hold it up against me. Look how nasty this person is being towards me. And the fact that that same individual would have trolled me like Chris Truthseeker's trolled you for the last couple of weeks, it's exactly the same as Rory McFizz, aka Brandon.
I
I got trolled for a good solid week about my monetization of videos. And the moment I tell him to go fuck his own leg because I'm tired of it, it's all, look at how evil this person is. It's like, no, I was just sick of him trolling me. He pushed me to the edge where I told him to go get stuffed.
And I said, well, listen, temper. We all have.
Yeah. Well,
then you never hear the end of it, and you think, oh,
that's true.
I can see Stephen Chess out the corner of my eye smirking, because before we started the show proper, we were talking about this, and I got labelled Dark Nathan for some of the comments I make, and Stephen Chess is very similar to me, because he might be in reality the most viewed YouTuber of any of us on this panel. Most people don't even know who he is when he comes on. Literally they go, who's that guy? It's like, well, no, he's debated Stefan Molyneux. He's been on a very, very big channel a long time ago, and loads of people have seen it. He's the voice from that flat earth debate with Stefan Molyneux. But he will be in the chat telling people how it is. Stephen doesn't hold back. Like that.
And due to the fact that he hasn't held back, he got unfairly slammed by a situation that happened. And it's one of those things you can't do anything about, because it's weird how people's memory within Flat Earth is so faulty. If you're trolled, or people lie about you, and then one day you get mad and explode, which I've fortunately, to my credit, have never done, that moment of explosion, which would be completely fine and deserved, will be screenshot, captured, and 50 videos will be made about it.
No, man. You once almost, Patricia, you were simmering, but it was one of your greatest moments with Jeff Stewart years ago.
Oh, yes, I do remember that. I did.
You were really good on that. Yeah. But that was heated, and you nearly lost it because it was really ugly.
So there's going to be people watching who A, don't know what you're talking about, and B, have no idea who Jeff Stewart.
Right, this is the early days.
Let me just move up a little bit. So Jeff Stewart, who has recently, in fact, today I saw him do a live stream. So actually tune in. But nevertheless, Jeff Stewart's channel name is currently, I believe, Break Free, and formerly Room Painter, formerly Jeff Stewart, formerly a whole bunch of other, undoubtedly another person that's got a dozen troll accounts. FETV, that's it.
He was Room Painter, I believe, when he first...
When I first met him, when we first became friends in the very beginning, he was Room Painter.
Right. Yeah. I remember seeing him, finding him, as a new YouTuber, and thought, hey, this is a cool guy. He's got a lot to say. I want to interview him, and messaged him, and we agreed to a date and time. And then I realized, because I had been doing it without looking at a calendar, that I had scheduled him on, I believe, on a Wednesday. And I didn't want him on a Wednesday, only because that was the day I would do the Secret Show with Mark Sargent. So I messaged him and said, hey, can we switch? Can we do it on Tuesday or Thursday or any other day? I just already have something scheduled. Well, he flipped out about it, didn't understand at all, and then it became my enemy. But
it was Jesse Spots, it was. You double booked Jesse Spots, and you couldn't
was it? It was 2 years ago. I can't remember, but whatever it was, I had something already booked for that day and offered him another day. Now,
I remember the episode. Jesse Spots held up a dish with a spoon stuck to it.
Yeah, okay, yes, that was it. A dirty dish. That was gross, but whatever. Crazy, but that's what happened with Jeff Stewart. But prior to,
you didn't explain the actual bit of the story that was due.
True. Wow. Well, I didn't know yet. He hadn't got back to me and said, yeah, I'll accept this day or this other day. Oh yeah. Or no problem, Patricia. I understand you've double booked. Let's do it Thursday. Okay, Jeff, talk to you then. Okay, bye. Click. No, that would be a normal person. This was not a normal person. I don't believe he got back to me. And I thought he was going to get back to me or something. I can't remember the exact scenario. But one day somebody messaged me and said, Jeff Stewart's on and he's talking horribly about you. And I thought, what? He's going to be my guest in a couple days. That's weird. So I went, listened, and I heard him saying all sorts of horrible things about me on a hangout. And I went into the chat and I said, Jeff, what are you doing? You're going to be my guest in a couple of days. Why are you saying these completely false things about me? And some of the people were like, let her in, give her a link. And I took the link that was given to me by I don't know who. And I went in and everybody who was in the panel, I don't remember who they were. They all muted their mics. Yep. They all muted their mics and like sort of stepped out. And it was just myself and Jeff. And I challenged him on what he'd been doing. And I don't remember exactly what I said, but I do remember I was very composed and very ladylike, very firm. And I don't know, maybe Martin, you can tell me what I said. I was
one
shaking.
of the things that did strike me about that, above all, never mind the arguments, is I thought to myself, Jesus Christ, they're really not getting on you. But above all, they both realise the earth is flat, because you both said to one another at one stage, look, how are we dealing with this? We just realised the earth is flat. You know, we've been living on a ball all our lives. And you both had that moment. I thought, well, Christ, you know, they've got over that hurdle where they both realise, yeah, they're not willing to just get on. And that struck me, that you both, you know, I thought, Christ, you know, they're both flat earthers. But there's this disconnect going on. Which I tried to analyse, like, you know, but that's just him. It's just different people's, you know, different strokes, different folks. He's his way, and that's how he is, and that's that.
Well, he went on to do several different hit piece videos against me, always completely non-factual revelations that he came up with nothing ever shown as proof, that I owe a lot of income tax in Louisiana and all these other, you know, just literally made up accusations. I heard about them. I didn't watch the shows he said them on. But yeah, he's definitely one of those people who straight up lies. And I have no problem saying that, because if he's not lying, I'd challenge Jeff Stewart to come up with the proof for any of the things he's ever said about me. Jeff, take it away. I'll wait right here. Because he can't, because I always paid my taxes for my personal and my clothing store in Louisiana and owed zero when I left that state. Not that I'm saying that paying taxes is good or that I'm encouraging you to pay taxes. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm saying I had a business, I ran it, sold it legally, have nothing to do with it. And while I owned the business, I paid my taxes in full. Anyway, so Steven, you're like annoyed.
That was just very cringy, you know, a truther being like, you didn't pay your taxes to the military industrial machine. Oh my God.
And that was before I was a flat earther when I owned my clothing store. I mean, that was 2011 or something along those lines. And the store I sold to a person who was a close friend at the time. And he was going to pay it in payments. And I don't talk to that person anymore, because what did they do? Decided to never pay me. And so we've cut all ties for a couple of years now. So unfortunately. But
it's interesting when you say about everybody going on to mute, because that's kind of bystander apathy is something that we get all the time.
Yes.
YouTube. I'm going to change the subject in a little bit. I'll bring it on to chat rooms, specifically chat rooms. But you find that people like to watch the car crash.
Yes, they do.
It doesn't matter if they might chat with you privately, even afterwards, and offer their condolences. They'll watch the car crash.
Mm-hmm.
You know, someone tear you a new asshole on a new channel. And the most upsetting part, I'm going to say this for you, not me, because I don't care, not particularly, is when you see somebody that you think is a friend, follower, subscriber, whatever, and they're in that particular video saying, yeah, right on, that person's a XYZ tranny con artist. List goes on.
Yes. Yeah. Especially when that person, you subscribe to each other's channels, and then they're on a panel show sitting there with the person who's saying horrible things about you. Maybe they're not saying anything horrible, but they're sitting there and they're listening to it, and they know it's not true. They might have even met you in person and they know it's not true, but they're going to sit there anyway and allow this person to just say horrible things without saying, you know, that's not true. I've met her and she's definitely a female, or that's not true. Blah, blah, blah. That didn't happen. No, they just sit there. So it is bystander apathy. It also reminds me of high school when two kids would be like, I'm going to fight you. And they go outside and they start fighting, and all of these people stand around, some of them cheering. And that's what a lot of flat earthers do for their form of entertainment. To me, the internet is so incredible that there's so many other things you can do as entertainment. You can go research something. I mean, how about watching videos on weather geoengineering with this Hurricane Harvey that happened here, and the Hurricane Irma that might be headed for the Carolinas or New York around 9/11 or 9/12. How crazy is that? Do some research on that instead of going to watch other people unfairly castigate good people. It's crazy.
It's like what?
Or shall I do it?
What?
Say again.
I was going to say Teresa Gordon might as well get a mention, because she She took it one step further by specifically meeting you, had a coffee together, you had a really nice show together.
Well, not just that. Teresa Gordon lives in Galveston, Texas. Teresa Gordon came to my first Flat Earth Mixer, which was at a restaurant in Houston, and I paid for everybody's dinner, and it was really lovely. And then she happened to be, I believe, in Houston, where I live, which is, it's not super far away, Galveston and Houston, but far enough of a drive. She happened to be in here, I believe, to visit a girlfriend, although I don't quite remember. And kind of impromptu, we decided to meet at a coffee house, and then I decided to do an interview of her. It's still on my channel. So she'd been to my mixer, thought enough of me to make very many lovely comments about the mixer and chats and how fun it was to meet me, and famous quotes, "I love me some Patricia," quote unquote, after she met me in person at the mixer. And then, of course, she came to the coffee place, smiling, laughing, having a good time, did the interview. And then somehow out of the blue, she's decided that I'm a satanic tranny clone and started making videos on other people's channels and saying that I am. And oh my God, her comments in some videos are so hilarious about, she believes that her car was towed because I put a spell on her. She believes, she just literally, she's nuts. Sorry, the woman's nuts. She's nuts, certifiable, I'm sure. I feel bad for her. I really do. She said that I have to go and get refurbished occasionally, and I bleach my entire body to keep my skin white, and I have continual plastic surgery operations. Just on and on with all of the crazy things that she says, when people who I've met in person have seen me. We've got two here on this panel have seen me a couple of times in person. I'm a normal person who looks like a woman, who doesn't have plastic surgery scars, and I haven't had any plastic surgery, nor do I have skin bleaching or any other craziness. She's even said her face doesn't have wrinkles, but her neck and chest are full of wrinkles. I mean, that's not true. In fact, you could look at me now. My neck and chest look just like my face. I stayed out of the sun for most of my life. That's it. I've used high level of natural sunscreen, and I have some pretty good genetics when it comes to skin. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I'm special, but I am saying I haven't had plastic surgery. But I'm not against plastic surgery. Someday I might do it. I'm not saying I wouldn't, but if I did and I had a YouTube channel, I'd say, hey guys, guess what? I want to have some plastic surgery tomorrow. I might even come on and show you the bandages. But that's nothing I'm at all considering, because I don't need it. I look just fine, and I may go to my grave with no plastic surgery.
Yeah, YouTubers like to use that kind of stuff. Like, there was this guy named Vegan Gaines who he publicized his circumcision.
Nice.
He did a video and showed it happening, or
no? He just like talked about it afterwards and how fucked up it was, and how it changed his perspective on like doing it to children, because he's in Canada where I'm sure they don't do it to all the children like they do here in America.
Right.
Oh, right. No rabbi sucking the blood out there.
I don't even want to think about that, Martin.
Oh. Well, no, did Vegan Gaines get circumcised as an adult? I know.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Why? Why did he?
I don't want to talk about it. It's horrible.
It is weird, by the way. I mean, I think I'm if I had ever had a child, I would definitely not be wanting to have him circumcised, for sure. And I do want to also say that I'm not advocating that any woman or man have plastic surgery at all. I'm saying don't do it. Definitely don't do it.
Say no.
But if somebody does want to do it, they have that right to do it. And if I had facial plastic surgery, I would not be ashamed to say so. I have openly admitted with all of you guys who all know I've had Botox, a shot right between the eyes right here. I've told you guys a couple times. It's been on various hangouts. What it does is it freezes the muscles, so you can't really lift your eyebrows, but I can lift my eyebrows just fine because it's almost worn off. I don't really need it. I wouldn't look like a different person if I didn't do it. Done it twice a year for forever. But, I do know it's tested on animals. There you go. You can lift yours higher than I can lift mine. I can only lift mine. It's preventative to not have those wrinkles. But then again, if I didn't do it, you guys have seen me without it. I kind of look the same. It's not a big difference. people don't understand what Botox is. I do know that it's tested on animals. I know it's tested on baby mice. However, there is a kind that I use that isn't. But if people are going to be worried that one day a long time ago, it was tested on animals and I'm a vegan and how dare you do that, your seatbelt was tested on animals. Believe it or not. Yep. Most of the common household goods you use were tested on animals. I'm against animal testing, of course, being vegan. And the Botox I've used was not tested on animals. There are certain kinds that you can get that do, but it's not something that does anything to you other than freezes a muscle. That's it. That's it. It's no big deal. I'm not a different person because of it. And I've never denied having it. The reality of it is that I can do whatever I want. If I wanted to have a nose job, if I wanted to add a second nose to my face, who is anyone to tell me that I shouldn't or can't? It's ridiculous that people will criticize others for what they do with their life. People will criticize you if you happen to have money. People will criticize you if you're broke and living on government assistance. People will criticize you
if you start a fundraiser to victims of a hurricane.
Yes, true. I started a fundraiser because Hurricane Harvey, at the time of this recording, was almost a few days ago, it seems like. I was in Michigan for my niece's wedding, and it happened. There's nothing I could do in Michigan. I couldn't get home. I couldn't fly home. I was supposed to leave on Sunday. Wedding was Saturday. I arrived there way before the hurricane on a Tuesday. I believe my Flat Earth meetup there, Flat Earth Bowling, was Wednesday. Supposed to leave on Sunday. I couldn't leave. The hurricane was underway. And so I thought to myself, I want to do something for the community now. What can I do? And I looked up varying groups, tried to find something that I would want to start a fundraiser for so that flat earthers would have a flat earther can donate to any fundraiser they want. But I thought it would be cool to start a flat earth one from where I was in a hotel room, unable to go home in Lansing, Michigan. So I found this company, and they get people to go reconstruct properties. Now, when I have come home, I'm back in Houston now, donated to a food bank, George R. Brown Convention Center, volunteering there. You have to sign up with the American Red Cross first, then you get approved. Oh, I'm sorry. That was so cute. And going there and seeing today, 11,000 people are there. A couple days ago, only 9,000 people were there. There were things that I could not do from being in Lansing, Michigan, with no way to take a plane ride out. So I started this fundraiser. I wanted to do something for animals, and I looked into the Humane Society. Well, guess what? The Humane Society is not a no-kill shelter. That means if you donate to the Humane Society, yes, they'll take in animals that are in the hurricane, lost in the storm. But if they don't get homes, they'll get put to sleep. So I didn't want to work with the Humane Society. They're one of the primary animal rescuers that are working with the hurricane animal victims, but they're not a no-kill shelter. So I'd rather help a no-kill shelter. I'm not saying that it's bad that they are rescuing animals. It's wonderful. But if those animals aren't adopted, they get euthanized, which is really
same with PETA. I think PETA does the same.
Yeah, that's what I've heard as well. PETA is not all it's cracked up to be. However, it's better than, just kicking an animal to the curb. But it's not, I don't want to give my money to the Humane Society. I think their name is a misnomer.
I remember something else about the Humane Society. Maybe it's just something else.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. Now, food bank, I have loaded up my vehicle full of food and brought it to the food bank, but I couldn't do that when I was in Lansing. Anyway, to go to Nathan's point, I started this charity fundraiser just directed toward flat earthers who aren't in Houston. If you can throw in $5, and when you do it, the first thing it does is it hooks you. You sign up through your Facebook, which is what I did. It was a lot easier than going through filling out forms. And it takes your photo as your Facebook profile photo and boop, pops that up as your photo. And then it populates with your information. And then it says, well, to start off your donations, you should donate. So I threw in $100 and then just let it roll. Made a little promo video that's on my channel. Mark Sargent mirrored it and let it roll. See if we can get up to $2,000 by the 9th of September. And we're getting closer. And then I got criticized for not dragging people out of the water myself getting a boat and dragging people out of the water. I was in Lansing, Michigan. There would probably be no way I could ever do that unless I could do it with my mind or something. It's crazy how the people that were critiquing my decision to try to raise a couple of bucks for some people to have this area reconstructed. I'm not saying $2,000 will reconstruct this area, but every bit helps. These people are doing nothing. They're doing nothing but sitting in front of their computer in their home where they've got power, they've got water, they've got a solid house or apartment around them. They're just saying, Patricia Steer's a spoiled rich girl. I'm doing more than you, buddy. It's very sad. I don't understand where all the anger and hate comes from. But the thing is that it doesn't matter. It's not going to stop me. I'm still going to continue doing whatever I feel is best for my channel and for people around me. The area I live in didn't get any flooding. We didn't have any wind damage. There is a neighbor a couple doors down who has a roof leak, but that's it. I got lucky. Other people did not get so lucky. And 11,000 people in a convention center a couple of miles from where I am are the victims of all of this. I've been looking into the whole geoengineering thing, and I think there's a lot of validity to it. And I know, Stephen, you've been looking at weather a lot on your channel, and I don't know what you think about the whole possibility that they are geoengineering this weather. And then there's this new hurricane that is headed, as I'd mentioned earlier in this show, toward potentially the Carolinas, New York, Florida. I know hurricanes happen, they're part of nature, but this hurricane hung over the city for an incredible amount of time. And it just seems like, it reminds me of Katrina. Most of the damage happened after the storm was gone. What do you think, Stephen?
I don't really know too much about hurricanes, but it seemed to happen after the eclipse, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And there was a pretty big cooling during that period, so it could have had something to do with that. But geoengineering, yeah, I guess there could be historical precedent to that. You know, it's like people have said anyways, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of a very hard thing to prove. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is a hard thing to prove. There's no way to prove it. But what I can say now, when I was in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina, it's one of the reasons I ended up moving to Texas. Then I went back to New Orleans. Then I came back to Texas. Long story. Anyway, that's all prior to Flat Earth. But while I was there for Hurricane Katrina, I didn't evacuate. I've told this story many times. I stayed there. I was there for the hurricane. I lived right outside the French Quarter. It was the highest area within the area of New Orleans, and there was no damage. But 3 days later, I ended up leaving because it was hot and horrible, and there was looting going on, and I just said, you know what? No, I'm out of here. But the levees broke about 2 to 3 days after the hurricane left, and they flooded some of the poorer areas, which was weird because a lot of people say that wasn't a natural break. That was something that had been blown up, or on purpose, the levees were not maintained in order so that they would fail eventually. And here, there's some reservoirs within the Houston area that have been there forever. They're like giant swimming pools, and forests have grown up around them. And as the urban sprawl in Houston has pushed the suburbs further and further and further away from the city itself, trees grew up all around the reservoirs, and people thought it would be a lovely place to live. Of course, just trees, and you can't really see the reservoirs. There's all these trees, and trees and water and birds, and then you build some housing developments. Well, these reservoirs, kind of like the levees in New Orleans, theoretically anyway, weren't maintained, and they were working on them, but they were filled with water prior to the hurricane. Then the hurricane dumped all of those inches of water, a crazy amount, like 93 million gallons, like some kind of crazy number. That's not exactly the correct number, but it's the best one I can remember right now. So what they did in the past couple of days is let the water out. They have to, because it would flood the entire city. If the levees continue to fill, they would just crack. So they've had to let the water out. And so near these neighborhoods where these are, they've been progressively flooding one neighborhood after another. And these are people whose homes survived the hurricane, high and dry, no damage. Nice homes as well. Not that it matters if you live in a shack or live in a palace, but these are beautiful homes, been there a long time. And all of a sudden, hurricane's over, life's back to normal, and you've got to evacuate mandatorily your home. And you've got 6 inches of water in there, and everything's destroyed, because it's not just water, it's sewage water. The sewage is in there too. There's a huge amount of E. coli in it. So, and 2 weeks is what it's going to take for these people's homes to drain. And it's basically a total loss. Now, I would say because of the type of homes they have, a lot of these people have flood insurance. I don't know how responsible the government is going to be, because they're the ones that are letting the water out of the reservoirs on purpose after the storm. So it's no longer a, quote, act of God. They're the ones cranking it open and allowing it to spill over and allowing the... I was thinking what they could do, and, you know, I don't know about these things, but you know, when there's big fires in California, they have these helicopters come with these big scooping devices that scoop up water and then fly with this huge amount of water and fly to another area and pour the water on it. Well, why couldn't they do that with the levees, or excuse me, the reservoirs? Fly over with an empty receptacle, whatever you want to call it, scoop up some of this water, and then take it to a place where it won't flood. Why can't they do that?
It's insignificantly tiny, the amount that those planes pick up.
Oh, all right.
I think this might be by design, though, Patricia, because they do the same thing in Amsterdam. When it floods, they got an entire south part of Amsterdam, which is basically allotted for flooding, and they got a floodplain south of Rotterdam, and they got exactly the same thing in London, where they got the London barrage. It's hallmark that if the tide rose, the gates would be shut, and Dagenham and the East End, the poor areas, would all be flooded, so that the West End could be saved. So they do create, I think, what happened is obviously unprecedented, and they didn't, you know, they've ever had nothing like it. But I think they anticipate buffer zones, is what they're called.
Right.
I think they anticipate this, and for getting rid of large tracts of land to save all of the banks and all the basements in the city, which is what they're worried about, really. I noticed one street full of banks. I'm thinking, well, you know, a city of what is it, 2.3 million, or is it more? Well, underground must be vast in a city that size. All that must be just... Have you got underground?
The area, River Oaks is an area that I'm in, and also in this area are palatial homes, which I don't have, but huge, gorgeous homes. Of course, none of that got flooded. Why? Because it's in a good non-flooding area. Okay, yes, maybe, but also I think that they make sure those areas don't flood. The Bushes, the Bush family, George Bush family, have a home in that area. So do professional athletes and politicians and whatever, very wealthy people. And I'm not saying I'm with those people, but I'm saying that in the general area, these homes did not get flooded in the River Oaks area. So it's very sad. It's very horrible. And just, if you want to donate, a food bank is a way to donate. You can donate to the charity for rebuilding that I have on my channel. None of the money goes to me. You know, I was very hesitant to do that when I was in Lansing and wanted to do something, although I was kind of trapped there and couldn't actually do anything hands-on, because I know how much hate from flat earth trolls anybody who does a GoFundMe gets. So I avoided doing a GoFundMe, because then I'd be tarred with that, oh, it's a GoFundMe, she wants money for herself, which of course is not at all the thing. So, but Humane Society, I wouldn't donate to them, because they do eventually euthanize animals, and there's got to be a better way.
I remember that footage from New Orleans when the levees broke. They had a camera that filmed it on a helicopter, and it absolutely took my breath away, because they showed the vicious seas lapping up against the levees, And then as the camera panned back, it was the first time, obviously I knew it was below sea level, but it was the first time it really, you saw it, you know, you saw the sea and you think that's the level of the land until the camera came back and it literally panned back as the levees broke. So you think to have a helicopter in position for the exact moment that the levees break, there's, you know, at the time it didn't even occur to me, but now I think back on it and think, how the hell did they have that camera there to pan back exact moment and get the most cinematic?
It was digitally programmed by the Led Zeppelin song.
When the levee breaks?
Keeps on raining, the levee's going to break.
Funny. It reminded me of the moon landing footage, you know, when you said, how could the camera be there to pan back? You know, the one where the when it takes off from the moon surface and then the camera follows it. And people have always said, well, who took that picture? Who took that video?
Ah, well, I've got the answer to that. This is back on subject. Well done, Patricia. So that's thanks to trolls.
This is a flat Earth show, right? I think it was supposedly remotely operated from.
Exactly. Well, you've got these batteries powering it, right? So you've got the batteries on the lunar rover. So it's a camera on the lunar rover that they remotely operate from Earth, and it goes via a relay up to the LM and then beams back to Earth. But the batteries, it's a couple of car batteries, you know, with 1960s technology that's razzed around the moon all day. And then it's got enough juice to beam up to a relay. Now, if you compare that to not even 1960s, but let's say 1980s outside broadcasting equipment, the amount of, I was about to swear that I'm not going to, the amount of power needed to do an outside broadcast, they'd have huge wagons in the 80s to do it. I mean, now they can do it with a van. You know, we can do it with a laptop, you know, on YouTube. But back in the day, outside live broadcasting, massive amounts of power needed to do that. On the moon, however, a couple of car batteries, no sweat.
Things are different on the moon. Didn't you know that? Things work differently.
But it gets better because to do it, they had a delay. So there's a delay between Earth and the moon. So the camera operator with his little joystick at mission control has got to pre-time moving the camera in time with the, you know, the launch, and he's practiced it. And there's a whole bullshit story about him doing it. Now I can imagine that the way it's compartmentalized, they've told him that that's exactly what he's doing, and they've got a guy that does believe it. So if you found the guy that was actually on the joystick, should he still be alive, he'd absolutely tell you that his version of events was exactly like that. Yeah, I had a joystick, I had to time it. It was really nerve-wracking. I was pouring with sweat, and it'd be a whole great convincing story. The fact that it's a pre-recorded film that he's, you know, matching up with, it doesn't, you know, he's not going to know that, is he? You know, the fact that he's got a couple of monitors in front of him just presenting him with footage. You know, he moves his joystick, a couple of seconds later, what's on screen moves. Wonderful, I got it right. Anyway, I was hoping, Martin, if you can you get the Google chat up so that we can do a few shout outs? Is that possible?
Yeah, I got it up. I got both chats open, actually. Could I just take the liberty? One boy, Philip Miles, I've asked everyone to club him in chat. I discovered him the other day. He's a young flat earth philosopher, a young chap from Sussex, I believe. Really like this guy. He's got a lot going for him. So just, if you could, please.
Yeah, I've seen one of his videos. He's, yeah, like you say, philosophical musings. Interesting character.
Interesting.
What's his name again?
Thanks.
His name
Philip
Miles.
Let me see.
Did you get that? Yeah. Philip Daniel Miles. Yeah, shout out to Mark Fanning. Shout out to you. Sedumpus, good to have you here. Flat Earth Crush says, if you're catching flack, you're over the target, as they say. Very true. Flat Earth Reset 2. Good to have you here. Maybe.
Sure. Hi, Flat Earth Reset.
Hi, Flat Earth Reset. I've invited IPS on the channel, on the show. If he does join, hopefully he does have a link. He asked me when, and I've sent him a reply now. So hopefully it'll come. Hopefully
now, are we looking at one with 55 watching, or
well, there's two uploads of this. There's Nathan Oakley's channel, and then the other one, Nathan, you've got two of these running at the same time.
Yeah, I know.
Shouting out the ones in OBS. And Martin shouting out the ones in Google.
Ginger Sugarbush is here, and Uktina Walker, and Isa, Flat Earth Court, Markovsky. And, oh, you know, Zoe, your channel is Be Here in Love, but there's somebody here who's before
Yeah, before here.
Before, thereafter. And I a couple times I'm like, that's Zoe?
Yeah, I thought so too. Oh, is there a new person?
Oh, hi, Marilyn Wiseby too.
And we have been joined by IPS, Speak of the Devils. How you doing?
Speak of the penguin.
Speak of the penguin.
Good to have you here. Under the name
Penguin
Glass,
Devil.
I see.
I cannot see it. Oh, there. Hello.
Hear him. Maybe got mic problems.
Mm,
Unmuted. We shall see.
we shall see.
Hopefully drop and come back again. We'll carry on shouting out. Hey to Timaeus. That's we got Druthless. Good to see you here.
Perrin
Philip
Greenway
Bell,
too.
shouted you out, my friend. Captain Kirk.
What?
Never heard of him.
Funny.
Rebel. Good to see you here. Cigar Face. Right. Now you're going to get a bit of a talk about. So Cigar with David Quintana.
That's who Cigar Faces is, David Quintana.
Yeah, he claims
I've never been completely sure on
of
that.
course.
He's always been nice to me. Well,
I used
sort
to
of been nice
always
to me.
say hi, so I'll say hi now. If
Me
you're
too. Like,
David. But why?
He would want
Why?
the hatred really quickly when this is 2 years ago, and he's one of the. I've only ever reported a video twice. One was David Quintana because he had a St. Bernard getting smashed over the head with a sledgehammer into edited, or whatever the word is, with me in between. And, you know, just at the same time, he had Orphan Red and Patricia Steer diced up with a scene from A Clockwork Orange, a rape scene, which I'm pretty sure you'd have reported that. Am I right?
I reported it as well, and I think I got his channel taken down because of that. I've
But I
reported
thought
very
you all
few
were
channels.
friends again. I thought that
David supposedly came back
down,
from.
said he was sorry. And
Yes, he did say he was sorry, and I'm just like always.
This was 2 years old. I mean, then I don't get why we're.
Yeah, I think he's hopefully moved on from that. But I don't.
Saying
just
why
can't-
we- well,
I'm not going to be the silent, passive. What do you call it? What we were talking about, because I don't think that, even though we're talking about our experience of trolls within the flat Earth, so therefore, yes, it could be justified that we talk about it. But still, if a person has, if we can even use has shown regret, has realized something, and has repented, for lack of a better word, and hasn't continued to do what he was doing before, then I don't think it's justified to. I can feel I get emotional about it because I just don't think it's cool.
No, I agree, but I wanted to show the turnaround. So this is a pattern.
Yeah, but that's why I know that you're going to do that, but that's why it hurts me that you're telling the whole world about this incident again that happened and that we already have resolved way back. I mean, it's different from the other trolls that keep on, that continue to be nasty and yeah.
I sympathise, because if I was watching this, if I was David Quintana, I'd cringe. But to be perfectly honest, it's one where, you know, it's something that was directed towards me, so my feelings are such that I don't care anymore. At the time, I did, but it's demonstrating the turnaround, the kind of the path that people go on so often on flat Earth. They'll come to the conclusion that the Earth is flat. They'll see a load of people making videos about it and decide that maybe they want to do the same. They make videos, they don't get very well viewed, and then they have a huge amount of resentment to the ones that do. Namely, Patricia, mostly. She's the one who gets the most flack here. IPS may join us again. Hopefully he gets his mic sorted out. But there's people that just get an excessive amount. And at the time, David Quintana was one of those. Now, he has come through the other side and is genuinely a good person. You know, I see him as a genuinely good person now. I hope you will agree. Maybe others on the panel won't. But it shows that people have this huge, what's the word, reaction to.
I spoke to him, Nathan. I had a shock. He was a lovely fella. He was a young, good-looking fella, really pleasant to talk to. He was down by the beach on camera. Spoke to him for a long while, a couple of times. Because he was face-to-face, not hiding behind avatar, he was a really, really nice, decent chap.
Martin?
David Quintana.
All right, okay. I didn't know that. But yeah.
No, really.
But the fact that he demonstrates this pattern means that others can see the journey that he's gone through. And I'm sorry if he doesn't like being held up as an example. It may make you cringe as well, Zoe. But by the same token, people do it all day long. We've mentioned most of them, the Star Gods, the Dan Pratts.
Yeah, but I know we're still talking about the shows, the trolls, or our experience within the time we've been flat earthers. But I don't know. It just.
I know.
But like you said, Martin, about the therapeutic thing about maybe if we look at some of the trolls or some of the people who have turned on others and who have suddenly just, it could be interesting to find out how much did they know about what other things are going on in the world before they found flat Earth. Because I would think that some of them, if not most of them, didn't know very much, were very much in the globe reality. And so because flat Earth opens up to everything else, if you don't know it already, then you're in for a real rude awakening.
It is.
And that in itself
is huge
nuts. So, I mean, but it is...
frazzled the brain.
Yeah.
And that other saying to me tonight, she's just frazzled by all the information. You need to take a break. I said, take a break because you're suffering the effects of flat Earth burnout. We all know about that, don't we?
Mm.
But just not be argumentative, Zoe, which means I'm going to be very argumentative, of course. You've got the other scale of people, which is the Daphne Rimmels, who, to me, was presumably very clued up about the way the world works before she came to flat Earth. And then, I mean...
I'm not saying everyone or all of them. It's just, it would be interesting to find out how much did they know before and how many.
But in the case of Daphne Rimmel, I think she knew plenty. Red Atlas Shrugged and all of that was long before flat Earth. And to me, she still followed the same pattern. It was within hours with me. She was claiming I was an MI5 agent literally hours after interview. And
Mark Sargent
had her on, and then it was, I think, the following day I had her on, or the other way around. I can't remember which, but maybe it was me first, then Mark, and then literally hours later, she was making videos saying that she couldn't believe that was associated with the controlled opposition, that being me and Mark.
Right, and then she said that Eric Dubé and Mark Sargent are the same team, and they came out at exactly the same time, and she was perpetuating that as being true, which isn't true. Then later she said, I'm part of the controlled opposition, which I have no idea why. And then later she befriended Sunny Peaches. And then after that relationship went sour for whatever reason, she claimed that somebody hacked her computer and stole information off of it. And then, I don't know, and saying that Sunny Peaches is a satanic Satan worshiper, just like you, Nathan, and me, and IPS, and it's like, and also was claiming Sunny Peaches was going to go meet Jaron to have sex with him. So that's Daphne Rimmel.
The things that they can make up, it's amazing.
Well, they're going to be the most.
Where do you get this from? Where do you pull it out of? What?
Fantasy story time.
With something like that, it's well known that Jaron is a devoted family man. I can tell without knowing him personally that he'd do anything for his wife. Go to the end of the earth for her. So to say something like that would cut, if he were to hear it, I have no idea if he's heard that nasty rumor. It'd cut you to the bone if I was Jaron. I mean, I'd like to consider I'm also exactly the same, but not as overtly as Jaron is. So, that's why they do it. It would cut him deep if he were to hear it. Just vicious, nasty bitch. That's why.
Yeah, I don't even know why, because nobody hurt Daphne Rimmel. Nobody tried to stop Daphne Rimmel. You interviewed her.
We
Mark
were all, hey, man, cool.
We were in the chat going, awesome. Yeah. We loved what she was talking about. We were very supportive. And then all of a sudden, bam, she flipped. I think I pinned that one to having some kind of injury in her psyche from childhood. I pin it to that. Now, do I know that to be true? Yes, because she did say in her interviews that her mother was a prostitute, and She said these things openly. So I'm thinking maybe some of that stuff scarred her to cause her to be so angry and make all these false accusations. Or
unpredictability. That's what that, you know,
yeah.
if you have a childhood like that, that will create unpredictability.
Yes, but does that excuse you from being a bad person to others who were only trying to be nice to you?
I think she probably made all that shit up. She's, you know, as likely to have made
that's
about her mother
true.
as about you.
She could have made up that her mother was those things.
Yeah.
Just like she's made up
You
that.
have that presupposition and give her a bit of sympathy because she's had a hard life, and maybe that's a reason to excuse her. Sod that. She's just a nasty, vicious bitch.
Yeah. And then let's, yeah.
Okay, I'm down with that. I'll agree. She's been very nasty to very good people who only offered her support and created these weird lies, intricate lies in which people were trying to do things to hurt her, when the only person that was trying to hurt Daphne Rimmel was the woman in her mirror.
So, IPS, let's see if you've got your mic.
Yeah, I just had to switch to my phone. That's fine.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you guys doing? Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me on.
Latest update on Flat Earth Reset.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, I just kind of gave him an olive branch. I just basically said, hey, you know, you're spending a lot of time talking about me, and it's like, you know, he's got other things in his life, I'm sure. But I'm talking the rate of 3 videos a day, and it's been going on for months, and I'm like, listen, I'll fly out there if you want to have a conversation, if you feel threatened, we'll have the police there. And let's just, you know, accuse me of being a witch and everything else. Let's just get it out and move on. Because it's a huge waste of time. And my take on it is that if he refuses my offer, then I'm no longer obligated to respond to any of his claims or comments or videos, because at that point he's opted out of rational discourse in favor of gossip and slander, you know, protected, of course, by the monitor and the distance and the anonymity.
Yeah.
As painful as it may be, can you fill us, or the audience more importantly, on what kind of shit you're actually receiving from this monster?
Yeah, you see, I've been self-employed since 2007, a little before that even, but selling my artwork, and I have to my name, to my record, through my PayPal accounts, more than 13,000 orders that I personally fulfilled. I've never stolen, never ripped anybody off, no traffic tickets. You know, I'm a model citizen. And so I have this guy out of nowhere call me a fraud, saying that I'm stealing money from GoFundMe accounts, making up this huge caricature that it's some kind of big scam. And it's like, it's absurd. But the absurdity is so bad that he formed a whole coalition of people trying to expose me as a fraud and a witch. I mean, it's literally a witch hunt. But yeah. I laughed at it until he got to one of my former customers who bought some art and commissioned some work. And this guy was so incensed that he found out that I was this big fraud that he went to PayPal and he got refunded on all of the purchases. So one day I woke up, you know, almost $3,000 less than I had before I went to bed. And I realized, okay, this defamation of character not only costed me a little bit of money, but it destroyed my reputation for this particular customer and some of the work that I had planned for the future with some of his friends. So they did real damage to my professional life. And it raises the cost of talking about this subject on YouTube when you have these unaccountable people who will try to destroy you for not having the right opinions.
Yeah.
It's interesting now you've actually suffered loss. I mean, that's something that you could sue him for.
Yeah, one of the things I'm doing is I had to file a police report for the Skype calls. I was getting these Skype calls hours and hours a day where the person just sit on the line not talking. So I'd have my Chromebook on, the person would be there breathing or whistling in the background, just sitting there. So I filed a report. I'm working with Google to see if I can get some information, maybe civil litigation, because yeah, you can actually take up how much time you lost, how much your business was interfered with, and you could put a number on it, and that's my objective here.
Yeah, it's a lot easier if somebody's actually, you know, cost you business. I know it's not what you want to hear because you just want whoever's paying you money to not take their money back off you. But at the point that you suffered loss, you can literally put in a claim and say $3,000. There's a very specific figure that you can claim for. Were you to sue him, I'm not suggesting anybody should ever sue anybody for anything ever. It's not a pleasant experience. But I think in this case, you summed this up on one of your live streams. This is a criminal matter. You know, it's not just a civil case where you're claiming for some loss. That, you know, it's a criminal matter. The guy's stalking you. Is it bonkers?
Yeah, it is rather bizarre, and I think that YouTube and Google will work with you, but there's a process. And so what I want to do here is just display the process so that others can follow my footsteps if they deal with something similar. Because we're just trying to talk, we're open-minded people, and yet we have these thought police among us. And I think if one is held accountable, others might back down. And
does he fit into that?
It really,
Dan Pratt.
well, yeah, we have flat earthers versus flat earthers. That's the part that I find strange. It's like a circular firing squad. And to me, this is like custom made. This is the type of tactic you would expect from the powers that should not be. If they wanted to keep this thing from organizing and growing, is they would turn people against one another off of little differences.
Yeah, self-implode, imploding from, and exploding from within.
Yeah, exactly. Some people in the chat were saying, Patricia, you support IPS who sends me death threats, who sends death threats. The thing is that I support what you do, IPS, as you know, because I support all the flat earth stuff you do. What goes on between you and other people who are threatening you, I have nothing to do with that. Now, maybe that means I'm not taking a hardline stance. I don't know the whole story about all that. I don't know if you're responding to what somebody said to you. I don't know if you're purposely, aggressively going after a certain someone out of the blue who is a perfectly nice guy. I do know what's on his channel, and I see some really horrendous, horrible things that are lies about me. So I am assuming he's doing the same thing to you, but maybe even worse. So do I support anybody sending death threats? No. But I think reading that in the comments that you send someone death threats, there's another side to that story. Yeah. So
the guilt by association. Yeah, we're talking about guilt by association, where what I've seen is these trolls will run around and say, if you don't disavow this content creator, you're through. And this has happened a number of times where it's kind of a joke how many relationships have broken up because of Infinite Plane Society. Like Daphne will no longer talk to certain people because certain people have talked to me. And I've seen this happen with others. And so it's this guilt by association needs to stop, because it doesn't give you the ability to think for yourself. They're saying you can't think for yourself. You have to follow what the crowd says. And if you go along with the mob, if you consent to that and set that precedent, then the mob is empowered to dictate everything. So I'm just tired of this whole guilt by association.
Yeah, and
also finally,
discernment is a thing that brought us to flat Earth. Where did it go after that? For some, it's like discernment just went out the window, and we went over the cliff with all the other completely over the cliff investigators of the truth.
Right.
I mean, there are factions of truthers that just went over the cliff, and reptilians and the whole, it just goes to total paranoia, and it's really.
Well, what do you think about this? I asked this flat earth research character who's stalking me, I'm like, what is your obsession with me? And he says that I am bad I'm a bad image for flat earth, bad PR. So I'm thinking to myself, well, here's a guy who's made multiple comments derogatory about women, like sexual harassment type comments. He says that Jews are the problem. This Flat Earth Reset is totally anti-Jew. He's called me a Jew. So you have this anti-Jew guy stalking me who's also an atheist. Atheistic, Jew-hating stalker who says horrible things to women. Is he supposed to be a better representative, and why should he stand for us?
Yeah. And he's also never shows his face, and no one knows his name. And he's in the chat right now saying that I'm a flat earther in name only because I get paid. And I said in the chat right now, paid by whom? Prove it. I'll wait. I don't get paid by anybody. I don't have a GoFundMe or a Patreon or any of those other things. And anybody can check how much money I make off my channel by going to socialblade.com, which shows it for all to see, which is like maybe, I don't know right now, since I haven't done many videos, $50 a month or something. So if somebody believes I'm paid by some agency, prove it. Go ahead. To do what? Interview people?
It's a little private spy game that people live in.
People just live in a fantasy land. Now, Flat Earth Reset likes to say that. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, in one of them, it's similar to you with your, not GoFundMe, whatever it is, your fundraising that you get.
Hurricane.
The same applies to the video I watched from Flat Earth Reset, where he was pointing out that IPS had made offline donations. And I thought, well, that's good. That's just good accounting. You know, there's people that are sending him money in various different platforms, not all on the GoFundMe site, and he's accounting for them. Yeah, great. But he used that against him. You're like, why? You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. You know, if he hadn't have put those in, offline donations, people would be saying, well, what about the donation that came through your super chat? It's like, I'm no doubt whatsoever on every single live stream I'm getting, IPS is scribbling it all down on a notepad the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, how many of these people are anti-IRS?
True. I'm sure Flat Earth Reset pays his taxes, rents videos, or pays for some kind of a TV service to get what, I don't know what those ones, Netflix or something. He's in the system. He's got electricity.
I don't watch TV anymore. I watch Netflix.
Exactly, which is total programming as well. I mean, you know, maybe he does live off the grid and, you know, whatever. But what I'm saying is that he is fully pot calling the kettle black. If he's saying, IPS, you send him death threats, God knows what he sent you first. He did a video with a picture of my head on a woman's body, which is a very nice body, by the way, with a beautiful blue evening gown, holding a bag that has $2,000 written on it, standing in front of a bank with a Star of David on it. It was hilarious because what? That my fundraiser that's supposed to help rebuild Houston in just a small way has anything to do with a Jewish bank? Like, are you kidding me? It's funny because it's so pathetic. But the thing is that it doesn't
That's
matter.
where the 1P comes in for the PPPs. You know, remember when they called the potatoes the PPK?
Potato Patch Kids.
Yeah. So
Well, one of the biggest potatoes.
They're the PPPs, the paranoid, pathetic, and petty.
Very, very, very true. Very, very true. In fact, Flat Earth Reset is a potato. So is Dan Pratt. So is Star Gods. So is Lori Gale. So is Daphne Rimmel. So is Redneck Tree Goddess. So is
I'm
Glenn.
gonna get some of my first trolls now since I said big trouble now.
So are fill in the blank. All of these other people. They love all of us. And I'm not saying we're all potatoes. That's just a dumb expression. But they love people that they can hate because their own lives are devoid of something. I don't know what that is. I think it's love. I think definitely love is missing from their life.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes you wonder what lies beneath all that hate.
Would you hug Flat Earth Reset, like at a meetup?
No.
No.
I'd shake his hand. I'd fist bump him.
I would shake his hand.
Out in physical life, we're not friends with everybody. Nobody's friends with everybody. But we at least know how to be courteous to each other. We know when we're being assholes and when we're being nice or pleasant to each other, you know?
So would you say that, like, would it be feasible to have a rule or a conduct where we say, never say something over the internet that you wouldn't say to someone's face? Like, is that fair? Is that a fair rule?
I agree completely.
Absolutely, totally agree. That's why I've kept from the moment I started being on the internet. I've kept the same name. Nathan Oakley 1982 is my AOL name when I was in forums and chat rooms, which is exactly the same as YouTube. Basically, what we have in the comments section is forums. What we have in the chat room is chat rooms. So it's the exact same formula that AOL had back in the 90s. I've just got to get this in. I had my first death threat. So proper death threat from Jamie Teth. So he was in a chat room saying that he was going to strangle me and my wife at the Cardiff meet, but he didn't. You know.
Wow, that's hilarious.
I'm still here. He didn't strangle either of us.
I had a person in a comment section of the hater, I won't even mention who, I don't even remember what video, saying that, number one, a lie that I declawed my cats. No, that's not how it happened. I did not, nor did I pay somebody to.
Can I just rattle off the story quickly? Because I can do it really.
And by the way, you knew this story before people started talking about it.
Well, I'll rattle it off because I can do it in 2 minutes. So produced cats in to be fixed.
They were being fixed. 3 related.
Recently had 3 cats booked in to be declawed. there was a mix-up at the vet, and Patricia's cats got declawed. I don't know if the other cats got fixed.
No idea.
It's
horrible.
It's devastating, very upsetting. People have said in comment sections, which I've seen several times, why didn't you sue? So I may as well ask you that question straight away. Why didn't you sue the vet?
I just am not a suing person. I did report them. I did have very strong words with the company that owns it. It's a pet company where you can buy pet supplies, and they have a little vet in it. And they're a chain that's all over the United States. And I was incredibly mad, and I was crying. I'm totally against declawing. They're fine now. They're not suffering. I'm sure it was a horrendous operation. I would never want them to have, or any animal. It's just one of those things. And I told a certain person about this. I told you guys this, but I told a certain other person who I was in a relationship with about this as well. When I told all of you guys on an off-air, Skype chat, just talking about our lives and such. And that particular person later, after I left him, decided he would talk about this as if I did it on purpose. And that's how it got out to the public as, well, she did this on purpose. And he knew very well, as did all of you guys, it wasn't nothing I did on purpose. But it doesn't really matter, because the cats now are over that. They can walk fine. They have a lovely life. They're very happy. Would I ever recommend somebody do that? No way. Did I do it on purpose and I'm lying about it? No, because the only reason anybody knows about it is because I talked about it with all of you guys and that person that I had a relationship with. Openly, I talked about it. That's how you guys know about it. It's not some kind of secret somebody's revealed. I talked about the tragedy of it and how I moved on from it. Didn't sue because it didn't seem like it would do any good. The cats still don't have claws. And just even thinking about it makes me want to cry. So
it's upsetting. And it was clearly upsetting when you told us in the first instance. And it's one where when it gets thrashed about in chats and comments, it's so cruel. It's so low. But, these people do it anyway.
It's happened to children who were not supposed to be vaccinated, who get vaccinated in hospitals. It's happened to children who were not supposed to be circumcised, who just because it's a routine and that get circumcised. It's happened to adults who go in to get Operation A and they wind out having a leg amputated. These things happen. Mistakes are made, and this was a mistake. And people say, well, how could they make the mistake with all three? All three are the same age, and they were put in the vet at the same time. And it's an assembly line vet. It's not a small local vet. I don't go there anymore, by the way. It's a big corporation. They do lots of operations per day. So I dropped off my 3 kennels and came back to pick them up the next day, and they had little white boots on their front paws. And I'm like, what? And anyway, yeah. That's what happened. And people don't want to believe me? Okay, don't believe me. I don't really care, but that's the truth.
Whatever happened to the 10th, I think it's the 7th commandment, thou shalt not bear false witness.
No, they don't care.
I'm tired of the Bible thumpers. No, a lot of the people who have gone on these witch hunts are very fundamentalist in their beliefs, which I'm cool with. But if you're going to be cool with your beliefs, then let's not cast the first stone, let's not judge, and let's not bear false witness. Obviously, those are the basic rules, but they're there for a reason, because it's very corrosive for people to be able to make false accusations or allegations without supporting them with evidence, and then leaving that person to the mercy of the mob. Because what's happening is you're being tried in the court of public opinion. They're putting you on trial, and they're letting people in the rumor mill convict you, and it's just not fair.
Right. Well, same thing as me too, being said we're Wiccan, that we're witches. Or that
right.
You and I are both transgender, or you and I get a lot of the same things, which is kind of weird. But if you're being accused of it, I know I am. Pretty much, there's a video about you being something. There's going to be a video about me being that same thing. Yeah, we are. It's weird.
Oh, sorry, Patricia.
No, go ahead.
IPS, can you do a disconnect? Or do you actually get, emotionally affected by the shit that you get? Because it's quite a bit. I'm just wondering if it affects you, on a fundamental level, on your every day-to-day life. Are you going around hurt because of people? That's what I'd like to know, if you don't mind.
I don't hate the troll. I hate the trolling. What I'm trying to do is kind of analyze it so I can understand it. And recently, it's become less personal, these attacks, because I realize now it's just part of how people in mobs act, mob psychology, people responding to demagoguery. And I think exposing this and understanding it is a huge part of exposing the bigger deception, which is about how we're turned into these mobs to go against other mobs. I think it's a huge part of this thing. So I'm kind of like interested in it from the anthropological point of view, cultural anthropology. Like the fact that we're in the middle of a witch hunt in 2017 is to me, it's staggering. Like, are you serious? Yes, it's literally a witch hunt.
Yeah,
Very
study on
autistic.
human behavior.
Not the first time for myself. I've been around a long time.
Flat Earth Reset is saying that this hangout is damage control. You know what? I don't care about all these things being said about me. Go ahead if anyone wants and call me a man. Say I have a penis. Say I have one finger the wrong length. I don't, by the way. Say I have plastic surgery. I don't. Say I'm a millionaire. I'm not. Say, go ahead and say I'm a Wiccan, or that I'm a witch and I ride a broom, or go ahead. I'm not trying to control any damage you want to do against my character. Please, if that's what you want to do with your life, have at it, buddy. Have at it.
He also says,
Just like you say, it doesn't matter what you say, because they'll just, in chat, they'll just say, oh, Patty, you tell lies.
Exactly.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't believe the audacity of these clowns. Apart from Nathan, who I subscribe to on both my channels. Oh, thanks for that, Flat Earth Reset. Really appreciate it.
That's nice. Well, he needs to be kept abreast of any hangouts where you're going to have people that he loves to hate, lives to hate. So,
but this is where we started. Before we went live on the Google Plus, we were saying these people are our biggest fans.
They're super fans, and we're not using it like Jake Gibson used the term fans. We don't believe that people are our fans, but these people actually are. They love us so much. They love to hate us. Flat Earth Reset is only here.
You know that they're scrolling through hours and hours of it to try and find that one bit of information they can hold against you.
Yeah, they're just watching your face. They're sitting around in their home, spending their free time when they could be with their children or their animals or gardening or going for a walk, looking at reams of videos about you, looking at your face over and over and over again. Seriously, it's like fanboy status. Seriously, do you want an autographed picture? Because I could give you one if you want.
I got groupies. I love it.
You do look like a rock star today, especially.
Yeah, you do,
Martin.
Martin, with your hair long too.
Yeah, it's nice. Your hair.
I like
nice.
it.
But rock star.
Just before we do, we're going to round out the at least the Google stream eventually. So before we do, though, one thing I do want to cover specifically, because we've got IPS here, is chat moderation. So currently we've got 2 streams, both totally unmoderated. They seem to switch. Sometimes the OBS is the hater stream, sometimes the Google Plus is the nice stream, but you have got complete moderation. So first of all, if you can explain to anybody who hasn't been on your channel that might be watching this what I mean by complete moderation in your chats.
Yes. I believe that an armed society is a polite society instead of delegating it to 1 or 2 people who may or may not be fair. So it's more impartial and fair, I believe, to give everybody a wrench. And that gives everyone the ability to share hot links, to subscribe to one another. It's better for community building and then sharing information. And then also, any trolls who come in to disrupt, I even see them. And if that person legitimately wants to communicate with us, they can email me and I'll make them a mod. So I have hundreds of moderators, thousands of trolls in the dungeon, and the cleanest chat that I've ever seen. Zero tolerance for trolls.
There's something to be said about that. I enjoy that when I go in your chat. My chat's moderated, but not everyone has a wrench. You know, I kind of switch the wrenches around. So I'm kind of in between Nathan and you, IPS. I'm kind of in the middle ground. I don't think people deserve free speech on a YouTube channel. I think that the person who owns the channel makes the decision on whether people are allowed to say horrible, harsh things and have it be unmoderated. So I think what Nathan's doing is fine because it's Nathan's channel. And what you're doing, IPS, is good because it's your channel. And what I do on my channel, that middle ground, is good because it's my channel. If people don't like the way all three of us or any of us three do it, then they can just watch something else. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, the idea that trolls have like, well, I mean, people think like free speech means you can say whatever you want anywhere, and that's not the case. You know, cutting a disruptor out of your chat room, to me, is fundamentally no different than being an usher at a movie theater. Somebody's talking during the show, so you go with your flashlight and you say, "Would you please leave? You're disturbing the guests." That's how I look at it. I've been called a fascist, but I'm like, no, we're just maintaining the, yeah, we're bouncers.
Sorry, go ahead, Stephen. What did you say?
Like a bouncer.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sometimes I feel like arming everybody in my chat the way you do, IPS. And then other times I'm like, I'm going to give these people a chance. And then what do I see? Boom, Flat Earth Reset comes in and just drops a stinker in the room. He doesn't come in and offer anything to the conversation at all. Same as Star Gods, doesn't offer a thing. Same as Dan Pratt when he occasionally comes in. Only comes in with a shovel full of manure and says, I'll just spread this out right here. That's all they do. So why should they be allowed free speech? Their free speech smells like you know what.
Again, back to damned if you do and damned if you don't. We've just got Authentic Intent, who I interviewed yesterday, mentioning about the billboards. And specifically Dan Pratt was the first to kind of claim activism, but aimed at you, Patricia. Why don't you take your, I think it was 6,000 subscribers, 7,000 subscribers at the time. Why don't you march on NASA with your subscribers? You know, encouraging activism. Then IPS comes along and starts the ball rolling with some genuine activism. And then you get people like Authentic Intent, Joshua, doing exactly the same. You know, so it's expanding. The ball has started rolling. And what do you get? Huge levels of criticism.
Yeah, people always will say, well, why does Authentic Intent have his name on the billboard? Why shouldn't he have his name on the billboard? He put it up. He can put anything he wants to on it. I think it's awesome that he did it. I think it's incredible and it's great, just like all the other billboards that are up. If a person wants to complain about how other people are doing things wrong, do something on your own that you think is right.
Yeah, the best two fingers to Flat Earth Reset, because he said that when he first started that GoFundMe, he got a comment from Flat Earth Reset along the lines of, this guy's not going to achieve anything, not worth fighting over. You know, little did he know that he would definitely get it all done, and it's all actually up now. So he lost Flat Earth Reset's attention. He should have been focused on him to do his thing, whatever Flat Earth Reset does and whatever purpose he served. Maybe that's a good question. What is the point? What are they trying to achieve? Do they actually think that by making 30 videos about the same person that they're going to stop them? I don't get it. What do you think they see as the point of all this?
They've appointed themselves some sort of sheriff of Flat Earth, and it gives them power in their otherwise powerless little lives. But they don't really have any power. It's only what they perceive. That they can put out a video and get thumbs up from somebody like Lori Gale. Oh.
You might be onto something there. It might have to do with that type of relationship, and it's fascinating because Flat Earth Reset, since he's here, from what I know, because I guess the Mad Mike opened some kind of a defamation suit or something. They already sent out a cease and desist. And from what I learned, Flat Earth Reset spent 25 years as a prison guard and apparently wasn't a nice guy. And so I think he's used to being able to antagonize people on the other side of a cage, which is why when I invited him to meet me in person, he won't do it. He'd rather stay at home and antagonize me where he's feeling safe. That's why I think it might explain his psychopathology, former prison guard, now he's a thought police officer, kind of fits a certain character type.
And Lori Gale, about the same age as me, always making comments about how I look. And you might wonder, when looking at Lori Gale, why she would make all sorts of horrible comments about the way I look. Well, I'll just leave that right there. I won't make any more comment on it than just saying that. Something about her pathology causes her to focus on how I look and say how fake I am. Maybe that's Lori Gale projecting something about her own appearance into the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to that you project, bitch.
Yeah, I think if we were to look at the emotional response that these people have towards someone, a lot of it's unconscious. And I think that the difference is people who are mostly operating from an unconscious level as far as their own motivations, I think they give in to envy. They feel this emotion they can't quite identify and they react on it. Whereas people who know themselves and their own insecurities, their own weaknesses, and how they want to improve, what they do instead when they see someone who's done something better, someone who's superior in some way, instead of envy, I think admire. And I think that's kind of what post-Globe to me is, getting past envy and scarcity and learning how to appreciate, admire, and emulate what works. And so I just think we're looking at people who are not quite ready for the big transformation. They're still kind of caught up in the programming. And a lot of it's probably just that programming.
Yeah.
That's so well put. Absolutely spot on. You know, that's exactly the point. The people who want to, I can use myself as an example. Let's not use anybody else. So Patricia, I saw what she did and went, I want to do that. I was making videos, but not the kind of videos that Patricia was making. And I was like, I want to do that. That's awesome. So I did. Simple as that. I emulated what she was doing. I didn't go, why has she got this platform that... No. No problem at all. Easy peasy.
That makes it so special.
Aspects of IPS, there's loads of people, if they actually were savvy and would listen and hear loads of business tips for making them money. You know, Eric DeBased and similar things, where he's describing how to remove yourself from the slave system. IPS has got hundreds of tips, you know, on how to pool people's cash, how to get money in. You know, it frustrates me that people don't see the wealth of knowledge that they could take on board. Instead, they criticize the fact that there's things being achieved. It's like, no, look at the fact that there's things being achieved. What's wrong with you people? Are you mental? But that's the world of flat earth, it seems, sometimes on YouTube.
Yeah, good times for all is saying.
Well said, Nathan.
It is. Good times for all says most people project their own weaknesses onto others. Yeah.
Yeah, you're all fat.
You know what? I hope someday the people that are such armchair quarterbacks, these critics who aren't doing anything themselves except making videos about how other people are horrible, someday will have a moment. They'll have a moment where they say, you know, I could myself be better than him or her, or do as much as he or she. I'm going to start doing that instead of talking about other people. I'm going to start helping out. I'm going to start pitching in. And then they'll have that moment where they realize that that behavior they were exhibiting was not helping anyone, even their own self. I think it's darkening their heart. It's probably scarring them psychologically and probably taking years off their life. It's eating them up inside. Get ready for an ulcer, buddy, because it's coming.
On that note, can I plug somebody who's doing exactly that? They've just started a recent channel called Headlines Debunked. I'm sure I've probably barked on about all of this guy to you individually, but yeah, Headlines Debunked is making a lot of videos, mostly about vaccines, but he's also covered NASA and various other things. He covered the Voyager and the nonsense surrounding that particular narrative. But he's just out there making his videos and making his point, and I'm hoping to interview him next week. Plug. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to Headlines Debunked. Check him out. He's got some really, really good information, all source-based information, no speculation, just good quality research. And he's not even confessing to be giving you the information. He's a bit like Jaren. He's recommending you go out and do your own research, that you just take his information as a starting point to go out and find out for yourself the kind of horrendous world that we live in when it comes to vaccinations and other things and other deceptions, but specifically Headlines Debunked, as the name suggests. But yeah, make sure you check him out. Is there anything else that you guys want to plug before I round out the Google Hangout that we've been doing?
No. Yes, he has some very valid questions. He asks some very valid questions.
And I believe after this, Flat Earth Reset will be cranking up a video talking about all of us. And so that'll be cool. As Nathan would say, it's another advert for all of us. I have a show with Mark Sargent on Tuesday. I usually do the Secret Show Wednesday, but haven't done one in a couple of weeks because I was in Michigan and other things. So we're doing the show Tuesday. So it's Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 5 Central, 6 Eastern, 11 GMT. The Secret Show Tuesday, just this week only. And Mark's coming here. He's coming to Houston the 10th or 11th, actually.
Ooh.
That's going to be cool. He's going to be staying in my house.
I got something cool to announce
That's
as
it.
well. I just remembered.
Martin.
In about
Go away.
3 weeks' time, you're not going to believe this. Nobody knows. In about 3 weeks' time, sat by here will be Punk It Word.
Oh, wow.
That's
Yeah,
so
guys, he's
cool.
coming over to Britain and he's only over the water. He's coming to stay with me. I'm so minted. I can't believe it. I'm so over the moon. We're close friends, you know. This is just so good news.
Nick is a good guy. Nick is a man who he's never involved in stupidity or drama or accusations. He does quality flat earth work. He is
Quality man.
He's a good man living in Thailand.
Can't wait for that. Just in time for my strike to lift, I'll go live with Funk It Work and Flat Earth Brits
Oh my
together.
gosh. That's the best
On my
thing.
50th birthday, that would be epic as well.
Ah,
Yeah.
Looking for condensed, superb flat Earth proofs and information. Phuket Word, excellent channel. Again, with him, Martin. So yeah, subscribe to him. I look forward to seeing him chatting away with you. That'll be awesome.
And
I know.
and
So
Stephen
excited.
Chess, you might be coming here to stay with me for a while. I think. I mean, you're going to be doing some kind of a tour of the U.S. sometime soon, right?
I got a lot of plans. I'm going to be putting them out over time.
All right, cool. And I have a policy of a flat earther who needs to stay with me. Somebody I like and who likes me, not somebody who wants to, just stab me or something. I will definitely, give me a message that you're coming to town, and you could definitely stay here. I've got a hurricane, not really a victim, but somebody whose roof blew off, and his wife's staying with me now. So I do have a spare room, a couple of them. So I'm not afraid to use them. So let me know.
Cool. IPS, did you have anything you wanted to plug before we round out this show?
On Tuesday, we're going to announce the venue and have some printable posters for FEMA camp, which is being held in Denver, first weekend in November. You'll hear more about it. It's the Flat Earth Music and Arts. So we're going to have a little film festival, live music, and a whole lot of artwork over a 2, maybe 3-day period in Denver. But you'll hear more about it. We'll announce it on Tuesday once I've actually put the deposit on the venue so we can go ahead and just start planning it. And we have an address already set up where artwork can be shipped if you can't make it, but you want your work included. So
Cool name, by the way.
thank you for that.
FEMA. Love it. Flat Earth Music and Arts. Class.
Yeah, that was Issa's idea from Flat Earth Court, which if you're not on Flat Earth Court, that's a good channel to follow. He's going to be talking about this quite a bit because what we're trying to do is it's not centrally organized, but we're using these chats and live streams to get people in different areas to organize amongst themselves. So we're converging for people to collaborate on their own and see what comes out of it over the next 10 weeks.
Very good.
So thanks for having me on.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
On that note, we'll start with Zoe, unless maybe you've got something to plug. You never know. Have you got something to plug, Zoe?
Are you going to make videos again, Zoe? You better.
Yeah, I mean, there are probably some people in chat. I'm not looking at chat because it was too distracting, but yeah, some people may not. Who's that? Who is that on the end there? Who's that girl? Because I haven't made videos in 5 months or something, But that is not a direct result of all the trolls and all the drama and all this stuff over the past. I mean, lots of other things have been the reason for that. Me not making videos, but I just haven't been in the mood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I was going to post something today, but so it was kind of fitting for coming on tonight. But I will be putting something up soon.
Good. That's
With
our
that,
channel.
my first-
Be Here in Love, by the way.
Here in love.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, my first massive thank you will go to Zoe Scribner of Be Here in Love. So first and foremost, thank you very much for being here.
Quincy.
And also Stephen Chess of Stranger XX YouTube channel. Thank you very much for being here.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me.
And Martin Liedtke of channel. Well, it's just Martin Leitke, but we know him as Flat Earth British. Thank you very much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Nathan. Thanks for putting up with me.
And Infinite Plane Society, late joiner. Thank you very much for being here. Pleasure for having you on the show.
Thanks for the invite. Have a great week.
And last but not least, Patricia Sear. Thanks a million.
I want to show my sleeve here. Can anybody see what this says?
Cool.
Oh,
Forget the what?
Forget the rules.
ready, plunk.
Rebel.
Oh, yeah. Rebel with a
Last
cause.
but not least, Nathan Oakley.
Yay.
Thank you for having us.
And with that, I will say, last of all, thank you to all of you who have joined us on the Google Plus stream. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. The show will continue on OBS. If you want to join us there, I've spammed the chat feed with a link. There'll also be a link in the description if you're watching this on the upload. I've been Nathan Oakley. I will see you all in the next video.